welcome to the Discover Your Power YouTube channel. I'm so excited for you guys to be here and to meet my special guest and my dear friend, Dana Moore. I have known Dana for years. I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. So, Dana, can you tell us a little bit about yourself so our Discover Your Power warriors can know who you are?
Well, I am an employee experience partner at one of the area hospitals.
Which hospital?
Advent Health.
Advent Health, yes. Okay.
I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana, so I'm a Hoosier. Not a fan of the cold, so I had to move here. I've been here for about 14 years.
So you work at Advent Health. We know each other because we worked in human resources. And I do want to say that Dana is a wonderful worker. I mean, she's so hardworking. She's always positive. If you have a team, you want someone like Dana to be on your team.
Well, she was one of the best bosses I could have, so I appreciate that.
I appreciate you saying that. So imagine someone that is so positive, keeping that positivity while going through something so traumatic in their lives. So over the last couple of years, Dana was actually diagnosed with a disease, and I would like for her to tell you guys about that. So can you tell our Discover Your Power warriors what you were diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with ductal carcinoma breast cancer. So it was found in the milk duct on the left side, on the left breast.
Okay. And how long ago was that you were diagnosed?
June 3rd of 2018. I remember it very clearly.
Yeah. That was when you were, it was Florida Hospital at the time.
Yes, I was an HR assistant. At our Maitland office.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what made you even start the process of trying to figure out what was going on and what actually was going on with you? What were you experiencing?
Okay, so my left areola was it was looking a little ashy. It was looking different from the right one.
Yeah, the skin texture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the texture kind of turned into looking like an orange peel.
Okay.
And I found out later I found out that is one of the symptoms of breast cancer. I had never heard of that symptom.
Yes.
That's one of the ones that most people don't know about.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that are also not aware of different symptoms of breast cancer or cancer period, if there's any change in your skin, any discoloration, change with the skin texture, if you see any lumps, any bumps, anything.
Fluid coming out.
Fluid, yes.
Anything.
Then that's a sign to go get it checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those of you guys that don't know, the areola is the area around the nipple of the breast. Mm-hmm. So when you started to see that change as far as the texture, how long had that been happening?
I'll say it was probably a couple of months.
Wow.
I vaguely also remember feeling under my armpit a lump, but I didn't really think much of it.
Had you ever done the self-checks like they tell us to?
And I had 2 mammograms before that.
Look at that.
In my life, because I was a G before. So I had really dense breasts. Mm-hmm. And so every time I would feel something, I would get it checked out. Okay. And I think
which is smart. That's what they tell you to do.
Yeah, that is what you're supposed to do. And I don't know what made me think not to get that checked right then. So don't wait. Just go as soon as you can. Even if you don't think it's anything, just go, just to be safe. So I decided to go to my gynecologist, and she didn't make it seem like anything was really wrong. She just said, well, I'm going to send you for a mammogram, just in case. And she told me that they'll probably do an ultrasound while I'm there. And sure enough, that is exactly what they did. And while I'm laying there on the table when they're doing the ultrasound, the radiologist came in, and I'm laying there with my arm up, It's too bad because he was really cute. But he came in and told me that he wanted to send me for a biopsy. And I was supposed to come back to the place and get the results the next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
But before Tuesday came,
they called you.
They called me and told me, which I'm so grateful for. I think I even stalked that doctor to tell him thank you for calling me on a Sunday, because they don't call on Sundays.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I remember when I was diagnosed, typically when you get diagnosed with the disease, they send you for tests.
Mm-hmm.
So they had sent me to get blood work, and there were tests that had to follow behind that. But that was the initial test where they were like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And they had called me, and I was at work, and they were like, you need to come in. And then I didn't go in that day. They called me the next day, which was a Friday. And they said, you need to come in now.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to tell me before the weekend hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, why do I have to come in now? It's Friday. I mean, I was like, I remember I had plans. They're like, no, you need to come in now. And that's when I was like, oh, crap.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't tell me over the phone. So I'm surprised that they told you over the phone.
He didn't want me to wait to get the results.
Yeah.
He wanted me to get everything started right away.
Okay.
So that was very hard. I was by myself.
Wow.
So my sister wanted me to come to her house. When I called and told her, she wanted me to come to her house. But at first, I really didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to go lay in my bed and vegetate.
Yeah.
But after a while, I was like, no, I probably need to go over there. So I went and spent the night over there for a little while, and that helped a lot. We pretty much dived right into finding a doctor and
planning out the next steps of what are we going to do now.
Exactly. And I'm so thankful because my doctors were great. All of my doctors, my medical oncologist, my general breast surgeon, my plastic surgeon, all my clinicians, everybody has taken such good care of me, and that was such a blessing, because people going through this, it is hard enough to just hear those words, and if they don't know what's going on, if they don't understand what's going on, that makes it even harder.
Well, so tell us, how were you feeling? So, everybody reacts differently to this. So what were the initial thoughts that were going through your mind?
Well, it scared the daylights out of me. I'm one of those people that I have to research everything, and I will fall down the rabbit hole. My doctor would even tell me, stay off the internet.
Google.
Yes, I
Google
research
can be like
everything.
Your best friend or your worst enemy with everything that you see. Yeah.
It got to the point where my blood pressure went up. My blood pressure never goes up. I wasn't able to sleep. It got to the point where I really did have to just put the phone down and stop looking at the internet, because it was driving me bananas.
Yeah, with what you were researching.
Mm-hmm.
At that point in time, obviously, you had breast cancer, but did they let you know, like, what stage you were at, or that was just too early on?
It was too early. Matter of fact, he guessed it was between a stage 2 and a stage 3.
Okay. And 2 and 3 are the earlier stages. The earlier, the better, correct? Okay.
Oh, yeah. It ended up being 2. I met with a nurse navigator. So she gave me different names of different doctors. I had her give me different choices.
Okay.
And then once I got home, my sister and I researched all those doctors. And
good.
Oh yeah. We have to look at ratings.
Yeah, you do.
Stuff.
Reviews, everything. Look up your doctor before you choose a doctor.
Oh yes. And also, a big important thing to me is bedside manner. I want them to know what they're doing, but I also want them to have some compassion.
Yes, and care about you as a person.
Because I'm already going through something big and very emotional, and I can't take a hard butt doctor being mean. So, found great doctors, a great general surgeon, a great medical oncologist, plastic surgeon, um, radiation oncologist. All of them, they have been amazing.
Wow, thank God.
Yeah. I have gone through chemotherapy that ended the end of October of last year. So it's been a year since I finished chemo.
Yay!
Yay!
So walk us through. Okay, for some people that don't know like how chemo works. How long did you go through chemo? Did you have to go through several different rounds?
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
So I went through 6 rounds. It was once every 3 weeks.
Okay. So what is a round? You said you go once every 3 weeks.
So a round is, well, that's just what we call like a session.
Okay.
A chemo session.
Did 6 sessions of chemo, basically.
Yeah. And it was chemo plus estrogen blockers because the cancer that I had was estrogen positive. So there are so many different kinds of breast cancer, and a lot of times people think that breast cancer is all the same. You can have estrogen positive, you can have estrogen positive plus progesterone positive, or there's so many different kinds.
Okay, I never knew that. Yeah. Thank you for educating.
Oh yeah. And with mine, I had to get hormone blockers in my port plus a shot every 28 days.
Oh, where did you have to get the shot?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, but they would numb it. Thank God.
Okay. Yeah, so, but then they shoot you to numb you, and then they shoot you to give you. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but thankfully, since I was working at that hospital, since I am working at that hospital, I would just go from my office to upstairs and get my shot or do whatever.
Is another thing that I just want to share with everyone. When you have cancer and you're going through treatment, it's not like you have the benefit or the luxury at all times to just up and quit your job or to put it on pause. Yeah. So I hear you, what you're saying, at least she was just able to walk downstairs or walk wherever to get your shots or your treatments. But, a lot of people have to take off time from work and then they have to drive back to work and it's a lot.
Or they just have to take off because some people, it hits them kind of hard and you have to rest more than others.
Yes. So. Or they could lose their jobs depending on what it is that they're doing. So, I'm glad that you shared that because Dana, as had to continue to go to work, and working in HR, you have to continue to put a smile on your face because you're helping people. So, yeah.
I was very blessed because all of my leaders were right behind me. They let me work from home when I needed to. I would go in, or if I just really felt terrible, I could just work from home. I was very blessed to be able to do that.
So you've gone through 6 rounds of chemo. What happened after that?
I had a bilateral mastectomy.
What is that? Bilateral. I think I know what that is, but can you explain it to us?
Bilateral mastectomy is when they remove both of your breasts.
So I wanted to ask you this question because I think most people know that breast cancer, there's the part where they take your breasts away at a certain point if it's that bad. But then can you walk us through really briefly, like, what is the process of getting your new breasts? What is that like? What did they have to do?
Okay, for me, so during the mastectomy, you have both your general surgeon and your general breast surgeon and your plastic surgeon. Yes. They both are in there at the same time. So the general surgeon does the mastectomy part.
Okay.
And then the plastic surgeon comes in later and places what's called expanders. Expanders
in the same surgery.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
If there are different kinds of mastectomies you can get. The kind that I got, the nipple was taken, the skin was taken, everything was taken. So I had to have expanders. The expanders stretched my skin so that I could have implants put in later. So I just got the implants in, well, I just did the exchange on September 5th.
Wow.
So,
and I just wanted to ask that because people may think like, okay, you get the tissue that has cancer taken out and then you get implants.
Mm-hmm.
No.
For a lot of people, that doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Yeah. There are some that can happen with, but that's if they can keep all their skin, but because they thought it was in my skin, they just took it.
Wow. Yeah. So the expanders help to just make sure that you have that space whenever you're clear to get the implants. Right.
So what it does, what the doctor does is there are ports, what's called ports on each expander. And every week I went to get a filling. So we did it one breast at a time. Well, did we do one breast? Yeah, we did one breast at a time. So because I was getting radiation on this one, I was going to. We started with this one. So every week he put so many cc's of saline into the expander to kind of stretch.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look, okay, you're teaching me.
I
don't know why I thought it was air. Like, pump it
well,
with air.
I think there are some that are like that, but no, mine was saline.
Okay.
And what I did, I had to take my muscle relaxer and Tylenol right before.
Yeah, because it's painful.
It can be painful.
Yeah.
I know it's really painful for some people, but it didn't hurt for me. It didn't hurt at all.
God.
I was thankful for that.
Good.
So once we got to, I told him I wanted a D. I don't think that's what he gave me, but I was happy with it either way.
I mean, you look great.
Thank you.
I guess I'm staring now. Yeah, you look great.
Thank you. They also did what's called a lymph node dissection. So they took out 12 lymph nodes on the left and the sentinel lymph node on the right. So you can get lymphedema when your lymph nodes are removed or if they're damaged. Lymphedema can come. That is the swelling of fluid. Well, the swelling in your arms can come up.
So can you tell us what these are compression sleeves, right?
Yeah.
So what is that doing for you?
It's pretty much keeping the swelling down. I have to be careful about like being in heat and getting too hot and
oh God, and we live in Florida.
I know. Oh, this summer was dreadful.
Okay.
And I love the beach, so that was sad for me.
Okay.
But they're also a fashion statement.
This is that positivity that I was telling you about.
But yeah, they keep the swelling down, and they've been doing a pretty good job because that was one of my fears in the beginning. I would research lymphedema a lot. And
So not only were you diagnosed with breast cancer, but then shortly after that, then you were diagnosed with lymphedema.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I have seen you go through a physical change with all the treatments that you've gone through and everything. And I don't even think I didn't know actually that you had lymphedema. So can you tell us some of the changes that you experienced from going through chemo with lymphedema? What did that do to you and your body?
Between the chemo and the mastectomy, I was very weak. I was very, very weak.
You lost a lot of weight.
I lost over 20 pounds, a little over 20 pounds.
Wow.
I think part of that was those heavy knockers that I had.
They're very, yes.
The doctors came and said, oh my gosh, these are, I forgot how many pounds they said. But
man.
It was.
Yeah, I can imagine. At least 5 pounds a piece, maybe more. Yeah, I mean, we're walking around with some heavy things up front. Yeah.
But I feel like everybody has to do what's best for them, and I believe that was best for me, the double mastectomy. And
so, did you have an option of what you were going to do?
Well, at first they thought I was, but then
they thought you were.
I'm sorry. At first, they thought I was going to have an option to do a lumpectomy or a mastectomy, but then when...
A lumpectomy is when they take out the lymph node or they take out the lump that has the cancer.
Right, right. When they take out a portion of the breast.
Okay.
But then they realized that it was covering too much, and then it was also most likely in my skin. So it was the best option would have been to remove them both.
Yeah.
And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, please take them. And I asked them, can you take my uterus too? Please.
Wow. You are so strong, Dana.
Thank you. My thing was that I'd rather be alive than to worry about these. And truthfully, and it sounds ridiculous, and I know some people will be like, what? It gave me a reason to go shopping and love my clothes.
It doesn't sound ridiculous.
And yes, I lost my breasts, and I do have a very tiny issue with it, but overall, I'm okay with it. I really am. I figured I'm not going to use them anyway. So,
well, as women, the things that make us women are the things that you can see outwardly a lot of times, and that's our physical features, or at least that's what we are taught from an early age. Our breasts and our hair, and going through chemo, especially having breast cancer, those are the things that are stripped from you. So tell us about the journey with your hair. How was that for you? Because Dana had the most beautiful full head of hair, and can I just say, I love your hair right now.
Thank you.
So how was that for you?
I had a blast being bald, and I did not want it to grow back.
You looked great bald.
Thank you.
Can I just say that? Yes. And not everybody can pull that off.
I had fun being bald. And then when it was starting to grow back just a little bit, I loved my hair when it was first growing back. Yeah. I still love my hair now, but
your texture changed.
It did. It changed big time. It was weird. I knew it was going to, and also my mom thought that it was going to be blonde because I used to have 2 blonde streaks on the side of my head when I was little.
You did?
In the sun. Okay. Yeah, when the sun would hit it, there would be 2 little blonde streaks.
No blonde.
It was weird. But no, it didn't turn blonde.
Yeah. Your curls look finer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do think it's a little thinner. My hair was really thick before.
Very.
Yeah. But now it's a little thinner.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I wear the headbands, because, and this is going to sound crazy, I feel right now my hair is in the in-between stages. So, you know how old men have the tufts of hair over here, and then it's shorter over here.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
Like,
it'll grow past it.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to do that. I said I'm going to let it grow out and see what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And then I'll most likely cut it again because I liked it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I can't wait to see. I think you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Either way, I thought you looked beautiful with all of your hair, and even when you went through the transition, you were bald, and how it is now. So, yeah, absolutely. Yes. So, a lot of people don't realize this, but you don't just lose the hair on your head. So what else happened?
You lose it everywhere.
Everywhere.
And,
your arms, people tend to have hairy arms, hairy legs.
Hairy everything else too. Yeah, that goes.
Okay.
It's gone.
Okay.
That was the greatest thing ever. That was one of the pros.
Okay.
I think of that as one of the pros. It sucks to have to go through it, but that was one of the pros of all this.
Thank God for that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then I used to work with a coworker that was going through chemo, and she lost a lot of weight during chemotherapy because she would say that she lost an appetite. Mm-hmm. So did that happen to you, or how was that?
I didn't lose my appetite, but everything tasted like dirt to me.
She said everything tasted like iron.
Yeah. that happens too. So a lot of times they say don't use like metal silverware or like the metal bottles or whatever. That makes it taste worse.
Okay.
I didn't taste a difference as far as the metal.
Yeah.
I didn't taste that one.
Okay.
But just everything just tasted
like dirt.
terrible. So it was just hard to.
That'll definitely help you lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I did notice. So I was there, and correct me if I'm wrong. It was at your last chemo session when you came and you rang the bell.
Yeah.
And I will say that I noticed a drastic change in your complexion, and even from before you started chemo to then, and then even now, so tell us what changed with your complexion.
And I noticed that too while I was going through chemo, and somebody else said the same thing. For some reason, yes, chemo is poison, but it makes your skin look like ooh-wee. Well, at least for me it did.
What is ooh-wee for the people that didn't see you?
Well, it pretty much made it really smooth. It looked like I had makeup on for a while. And now I know with some people, it dries them out or whatever. And because of that, and because of just because I'm anal about being ashy, I use moisturizer all the time anyway. So I do feel like right after chemo ended, I did start breaking out. Like when I was going through radiation, I saw on my face a little bit of breakout. So,
and you have really nice skin. You've always had very nice skin. Even now, I mean, it looks flawless.
Thank you.
Yeah. You went through such a transformation from having the double mastectomy to hair loss, your skin changing, your eating, losing weight, lymphedema. So you went through all of those things. So tell me, do you feel like you ever got an opportunity to start to feel normal again? And you know, when did that happen for you?
Truthfully, no. I've never felt normal. What comes is a new normal.
Can you tell us about that? Because I've said that before, you know, with my lupus diagnosis. I had to literally transform my life. And I had to come up with a new normal. So can you tell us how you were able to discover your power and figure out what your new normal is?
So
what have been your main struggles in coping with having breast cancer and lymphedema?
Well, my biggest struggles right now are fatigue. I don't think that goes away for a very long time. A lot of these side effects, they don't go away for a good long time. I get a lot of fatigue, so I have to listen to my body when it says rest.
Good. I struggle with that. I'm getting better. Yeah, people like me and you, I know you have high energy.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to just sit still, especially when I see something needs to be done, or I need to go wash some clothes, or I need to go do this and do that.
Yeah.
So I struggle with that. I struggle with chemo brain big time. Oh my gosh. Chemo brain, it's pretty much one of the chemo side effects where your brain is in a fog.
Brain fog.
Yes.
People with lupus have brain fog also.
And a lot of people with autoimmune diseases, I think, do
have brain fog.
Also, I forget everything. So now I have a notepad in my car.
Wow.
At work, next to my bed, down in the kitchen.
That's smart.
Everywhere, because I will forget everything. I put notes in my phone.
And that wasn't like you before?
No.
Yeah.
Only a little bit. Like, I would forget every blue moon, like a normal person.
Yeah.
But now, it's everything. You could tell me something one time, like, right then, and then it'll fly right out of my head. I have to set alarms all the time. To remind me to, like, let's say, clock in and out for work, to leave, at a specific time to get somewhere at another specific time. I have to set alarms for everything.
Yeah.
To remind myself to call so and so to talk to them or whatever. And also one thing that I struggle with is kind of mental. So they say that people that go through cancer, they end up with PTSD, and I do think that is true.
Okay.
Matter of fact, even my social workers told me that. I go to see a social worker about every 2 to 3 weeks, just for kind of maintenance on my mental health.
That's really good.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do it even from the beginning, but for whatever reason, I never did. But I knew I really wanted to, and I probably really needed to. Mm-hmm. So I just go and talk and let her know what's going on.
Yeah,
she
someone
walks
to talk
me through
to.
stuff. Yeah, and I wanted to make sure that it was a counselor or therapist that specialized in cancer patients. And thankfully, she is. She's right there in my radiology office. I mean, not radiology. My radiation oncology office.
Okay.
So
that's really important to have someone that can understand what you're going through, because people care about you, but not everybody really understands what it means to go through this transition in your life. Yeah. So I'm glad that you're doing that.
Thank you. Me too. She's helped a lot. We've gotten to roots of issues that I've had.
So that's helping with the PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm still a work in progress.
Absolutely.
I still have my issues. I still have my moments, and I'll probably have them for the rest of my life. There's worry about recurrence and other things.
Yeah.
Or dating after a mastectomy or all that good stuff.
Right.
So even though I know in the long run I'll be fine throughout all this, I still have my moments where I'm thinking, hey, maybe this guy won't want to date me because I'm missing. Or maybe I can't think of a good idea at work or whatever. But I know I can do those things. It's just I am learning how to navigate the chemo brain.
Yeah.
And the fatigue and
when it takes time.
Yeah.
It does take time, and I know, I don't know if you feel like this, but I still feel like you're freshly overcoming this. Mm-hmm. So, all of this is new for you. I can say for me personally, you don't necessarily get cured for lupus, but it comes and goes. And it took me years to be able to tell people that I have lupus, especially people that I was dating. Yeah. So I can kind of relate in a sense. Just having that conversation is not easy. And then, the feelings that come, well, now they know this about me. Yeah. So now what are they thinking? Or, telling your work that you have to go through this. So yeah, I think that's normal.
I'm told that I think too much. I am told that
overanalyzer.
Yes, yeah. I do. And I do agree with that. I am told that, one time I was having a meltdown in my lymphedema therapy session, of all places. And she said, ma'am, do you realize that what your body has just gone through? And I do realize it, but it's hard. It's really hard for my brain to say, okay, you went through this. Give yourself a break. Because I feel like I need to be back to the way I was. I'm still getting past that. I'm still working on that, and that's one of the reasons I go to my social worker. So,
and please know, I do believe that you can get back to where you were, and it may not be 100%.
Yeah.
It may even be better than how you were before. You never know.
Yeah.
So it's a journey. It is definitely a journey.
Oh, yeah, it'll just take me time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep that in my head.
Grace. Patience with yourself. The same patience that you would give somebody else.
Exactly.
You got to give to yourself.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how you've been able to discover your power going through this whole journey of having cancer?
Well, it helped to have the greatest support system ever in the world, and you were part of that. You're so silly. But my family, my friends, my coworkers, everybody rallied around me. They took great care of me. That helped so much.
You have a lot of people that love you.
Yeah, and I love them very much. I changed my food because I changed my diet, I'll say. That, again, I'm still a work in progress because I love to eat.
Yeah, well, tell us, how did you change it? Because typically when you go through an illness, it triggers something in you to, I got to do better.
Yeah.
It, like, scares you even to make you feel like you got to do better. So how did you manage? What did you do? What changed?
So I changed most of my food to organic.
Wow.
That's not a cheap journey.
No, it's not.
But it's cheaper than having to do this all over again.
Isn't it? Okay.
And it does not guarantee that it won't come back or that I won't get cancer, but it helps to keep it away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do everything I can to try and keep it away.
Okay.
So I changed my food. I changed my toiletries. So like my deodorant, I changed it to non-aluminum. I use deodorant instead of antiperspirant.
Okay.
I changed my toothpaste. Both of those I use Tom's. And I changed like lotions and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I use like cocoa butter and vitamin E oil and sweet almond oil, all that kind of stuff. I changed my soaps. I look for things that are made more organically.
Yeah.
Than all, like, let's say Jergens or something.
Yes.
I've tried to get back to the gym.
Okay.
I do a pretty good job at it, and once I'm in there, I'm really good at it.
Yeah. Getting there.
Yeah, it's just getting there is a challenge.
Yeah.
But I'll make sure to do some cardio, so I'll get on the treadmill or the bike. I have to stretch. I have to do that.
Have you tried yoga?
Before all this, I have, but I haven't since. I wanted to.
Yeah.
I know that I need to do something with that because I hear that's really good for.
It is so good.
Cancer survivors, especially. I plan to try that. It is a plan for me to find a meditation class somewhere. And I don't want to do it online. I want to do it in person because it's easier to do it in person. So I like to be in the actual class.
Yes, in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. I've started to try and combat the chemo brain a little bit. I've started doing like word crossing on my Kindle.
Yeah.
Those word games that are on there to kind of give it a workout. I already read all the time, but I think I need to
variety.
Think. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also a home decorating app that I have on my Kindle, and it's a game. So I decorate different rooms, and you would think I was a
Interior designer.
Interior designer.
Well, maybe. You never know. You have a calling. I love that.
But yeah, I just try to do different things.
Yeah,
to just,
in creative ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good. You know, when we try to find our strength again and our power again to overcome, it looks different for everybody and it feels different for everybody. And you know, it's physical, it's mental, like you were talking, it's even spiritual and emotional. So I'm really glad that you're doing a variety of things to help you overcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You do.
Yes. So let me ask you this. So now that you have gone through cancer, and I just want to clarify, I'm not sure if you talked about it, you're cancer free, right?
I am cancer free. I did not say that.
Yay.
I say that my mastectomy date is my cancer free date. So November 29th, it'll be a year that I've been cancer free. Woo!
Praise God. Yes.
And I'm just very thankful for that opportunity to be cancer free because everybody does not get that.
That is so true.
I don't take it for granted at all. God kept me here for a reason, so we're gonna figure out what that reason is, and
I'm sure for many reasons too.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what is the biggest misconception that people could have when it comes to dealing with someone that's been through cancer and specifically breast cancer?
Yeah. Well, one of the misconceptions is that once treatment is done, they're back to normal. Once treatment is done, they're done. No,
it's a process.
We'll be dealing with it forever in the rest of our lives because of side effects.
So going through this whole process, which is actually transforming and life-changing, what have you learned about yourself?
I have learned that I'm stronger than I thought I was. I already knew I was strong, but I had no choice but to be strong. I had to get through it. And
you have to survive.
I had to survive, and I'm a fighter, so I did my best to kick its butt. And
you did.
I did.
If you could give anyone some advice that is going through the same battle that you had to go through, or that's dealing with a loved one or a friend that's going through this, what are maybe like 3 tips that you could share with them?
Well, for somebody that's going through it, I think that number one, they should take their time. Take their time to think, take their time to just be, take their time to feel all the emotions that they want to feel. Because you're going to feel a lot of them.
Yes, I call that honoring your feelings. Allow yourself to feel it. Don't stay in that negative space, but at least give yourself the grace to feel.
Because you got to get it out.
Yes.
Because if you hold it in, that's going to make it even worse. I'm trying to learn not to be too hard on myself, but that's something that I would tell somebody else.
Right.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
But then it's like you got to tell yourself.
Yes, yes. Because you are going through something very big, very life-changing, and you're learning how to navigate through it, and it's going to take you some time, and you're going to, again, have all the emotions, and you're going to have to get through it. So just, you'll be okay. And also, I think that a patient should always ask questions. Always ask questions. Don't say to the doctor, "Oh, I don't have any questions." No, you have to have questions.
You better have questions.
You have to understand what you're about to go through. What they're about to put into your body. What next steps are. The internet is good and bad. The good thing is that you can find information. You can find things to ask, questions to ask your physician, your oncologist, because you're going to think of a lot of them. And when you do think of them, you write them down.
Write them down.
Write them down.
Bring a pad and paper.
Mm-hmm.
Write it down. And can I just say this? So I was always that person that went to the doctor and was like, no, I don't have questions. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And then when I got diagnosed with lupus, and I don't know if you experience this, it was just so much information overload.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember leaving like, what did the doctor tell me? And so if you are not able to process it all, writing it down helps, or
you have to take somebody with you. I took somebody.
Yes.
Either my sister or two of my friends came with me to one time. All three of us were in the office together. My doctor was like, "All of you are here."
Yes, but we're all here.
Hey, and he knew, and he understood it though.
For support, and so because they hear things that you don't hear when it's a lot to process. So yes,
I had my notebook. My sister had her notebook. We were bumping there, writing everything down.
Yeah.
And so now my oncologist knows me when he sees my notebook. He knows that I got a lot of questions.
And I would even say something that I learned, which is, and I call this advocating for yourself, is not just asking questions to make sure that you understand, and don't feel stupid if you need to ask for clarification, but also making sure that with all these different doctors that you're seeing, how you said, all those different doctors, oncologists, the
surgeons.
Yes, the surgeons. I'm not going to go through the list because I'm probably going to mess it up, but making sure that they all have your records. So make sure that your records are sent before your appointment, or bring your records with you.
But make sure you get your medical records. If you have any of your scans, any of your labs, all of that, make sure you bring those with you. Make sure you always have those at hand, even if you just have them in your house, just to make sure you have them. If you have to refer back to them, you have it. I was very big on getting all my medical records.
Because you, as a patient, you don't really realize that it's someone's responsibility to make sure that that's sent over. But who is that someone, and what if they don't? Because I've been to an appointment where my one of my doctors was not really communicating with the other doctor, and they weren't sending each other paperwork. I don't know why. And I'm like, you don't have my records.
So then you can be like, bam, here it
is. Yes. All right, so October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I just want to thank you for sharing your story. I approached Dana about this, not knowing if she would be comfortable enough to talk about this. Going through something like this with a disease is life-changing, and sometimes not always in a good way. So I appreciate you talking about it.
I always feel like if I tell my story, I could probably help somebody else that's going through the same thing or just starting to go through it. It's funny because I have family members and friends that I've now made a list, like a tips list, or
that's so
like
good.
Like the products you may need to use during like chemo or radiation or whatever.
Wow.
I made the list to kind of help them, and it has helped them tremendously. So
that can help so many people.
Yeah, and I got the idea because I learned a lot of this stuff on Pinterest. Pinterest was my friend during all this research.
Okay.
So I just want to help people, and that's what when I was first diagnosed, that was my prayer. I prayed to be brave, and I prayed to be able to help somebody throughout all this, and he granted both of those for me, and I'm thankful for that. So,
well, I know that you're not just helping somebody. I know that you're helping so many people by sharing your story, because you never know who can relate.
Yeah.
Or you never even know who heard it now, and they're going to think about it whenever they're going through something later.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there anything else that you want to share about yourself or with our Discover Your Power Warriors about anything?
So I want to tell you to make sure you get your mammograms. I want you to keep that in your mind all the time. 40 now is the age that we start, because now people are getting it earlier. Years ago, you would have never thought a 40-year-old woman would get breast cancer. Now, there are women that are younger getting it.
Yeah.
So please get your mammograms. Please get your yearly, like do your monthly, your annual exams from your doctor, your checkups. Please do your monthly manual breast exams yourself. Yeah. If you have a husband, have him do it. You do it. Doesn't matter. As long as somebody's checking them out. Also, men can get breast cancer too. I want to be aware of that.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it's rare, but they do get it. It's important for them to kind of, you don't think of a man doing the checks, but they should be doing them also.
Yeah.
So,
thank you so much for sharing that. And then can you tell us about this beautiful bracelet that you have here?
Well, my brother-in-law got me this bracelet.
Is it bright?
It is bright.
How did you know?
I have a bright one. Yeah, so
This
pretty.
is my favorite bracelet. He got it for me when I was going through chemo.
Aww.
And then these two charms here, he just bought them for me for my birthday. So,
Yes, your birthday just recently passed.
it was on the 14th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, I love this bracelet. I wear it all the time.
Dana, I just want to thank you for being so strong and being a warrior, sharing everything of what you've gone through, being so open. Dana, you've been like that from day one that I've known you. So it is so nice to see that this may have been tough for you, but it didn't change you to where it took away who you are.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you are.
I tried my best.
Oh, I know. You got to take it day by day, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm just so thankful that God, kept you here with us, because I do think that you have a lot more to share. Thank you for being here with us, the Discover Your Power Warriors.
Thank you guys.
And I love you so much.
I love you too, honey.
Double mastectomy. Mastectomy?
Mhm.
Okay. Double mastectomy. Whew. Explain it to us.
Bilateral mastectomy is when they remove both of your breasts. They also,
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
after a while, maybe a couple of weeks,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What are they doing? I have people next door.
The way I got this was not genetic. Nobody.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you again. They're leaving probably. Oh my God!
I'm glad we didn't.
Let's take a water break. Jesus.
Let's wet our whistles.
Well, you found your strength going through this experience. If you could give anyone some advice that is...
And I don't take it for granted at all.
Yeah.
God kept me here for some reason, so...
I'm sorry, can you say that again? Damn motorcycle.
It's not to take... Okay. And also, always make sure you get copies of anything that. Wait, let me do that again because I think I've done.
It's okay. Edit.
Wait, I gotta stop.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience, with our Discover Your Power Warriors, about yourself or about...
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, oh, okay.
Is there anything?
Okay.
That's it.
Aww. good. Even with my stuttering and talking crazy.